Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to talk to you today about opening and reopening your studio. We're calling it opening and reopening your salon Sola Strong because we have a lot of Sola newbies who are joining us on this webinar. And then, of course, a lot of existing Sola professionals who are getting ready to reopen your studio. So we're going to cover a lot of topics on today's webinar that will help you open for the first time or reopen your salon Sola Strong. So excited to talk about this topic because I think that we are all anxious to get on the other side of this COVID-19 crisis. And I know that we still have a little bit of a ways to go before we're really out of the woods here, but it really is better to be prepared and think about these things in advance. I just want to start out by introducing myself. I'm Jenny Wolf. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Sola Salon Studios. So any of you who have been at Sola for a little bit of, a little while, you may get emails from me. I may have met you at a Sola session before. But if you're new to Sola, I hope that we can connect and meet at some point soon. Again, very excited to have you with us today and so excited to talk about opening and reopening strategies for your salon. While we wait for a few more people to dial in, just want to cover a couple of housekeeping items with you. So on the right side of your screen, you should see your GoToWebinar control panel. On that panel, you can use that to send in questions to us. I have Melissa Bennett on the webinar as well, helping to moderate questions, so she'll be able to type responses back to you. And then any questions regarding the content that we're covering, we'll cover at the end of the webinar. I also have 3 handouts available to you on your GoToWebinar panel. So you'll see a back to work guide. That is the guide that Sola has created in partnership with Barbicide. That will help you with sanitation best practices, which we'll be discussing throughout this webinar. And then there's also 2 checklists available for you, whether you are opening your studio for the very first time or reopening your salon. There's a different checklist for you based on which group you are in. So you can download those checklists, which should help you as well. But today, really want to dive into these opening and reopening strategies. You know, what we are all facing right now due to coronavirus is completely unprecedented. And we're all really navigating this together. All of you in the Sola community, us at the home office, we've been doing everything we can to try to stay ahead of this and follow along what needs to be happening, especially right now as it relates to opening and reopening. Our number one goal at Sola is to ensure you have the resources that you need to get through this time and get your business back up and running when we get to the other side of this. So I love this picture. Our 2020 Faces of Sola created this right at the beginning of the stay-at-home orders. What I love most about what they said, just a short 4 to 6 weeks ago was the comeback is always greater than the setback. We've really been focused on that at Sola, and we're here to help you reopen your studio Sola Strong, whether you're opening tomorrow as some of our locations in Georgia even opened last week. We have locations here in Colorado that are getting ready to open as early as Friday. Or if you're going to be closed for another few weeks or even another month, that's okay. It's not too early to start thinking about what reopening is going to look like for you. While there's so much uncertain right now, what doesn't have to be totally uncertain is the way your business and your marketing looks when your doors open back up. There's so much that we cannot control going through something like this. We can't control when salons are going to open again. We can't control what the government is going to provide with loans and unemployment or what banks are doing. We can't control what's going to be required of businesses as we reopen. But we can control what we do with your businesses during this time and how you prepare for reopening. We have all weathered this crisis together, and we hope to come out stronger on the other end. As we look forward to reopening, whether it's you opening your studio at Sola for the very first time or getting your studio back up and running, we know that there's still a lot of fear and uncertainty. And we know that there's a ton of excitement and pride in your studios. We know you're ready to see your clients. And most importantly, we know that they're definitely ready to see you. They look to you to help make them feel whole and beautiful and normal. And your job in their life is so important. It is definitely essential. You give people the confidence they need to make their comeback as strong as it can be too. So just know that we are here with you every step of the way as you prepare to open your studio. And today we're going to talk about a lot of steps and tactics, ideas, different topics that are going to make sure you are ready to open your doors Sola strong. So today we're going to be covering a wide variety of topics. And we have a lot of additional resources that our team has been preparing to help make this process of opening or reopening easier for you. So on all these topics, we have different blogs, we have pre-recorded webinars inside of the Sola Pro app, we have videos, we have all sorts of resources to help you think of all of these things. So throughout today's webinar, I might be, referencing other content that I think might be helpful to you. I mentioned this a few minutes ago. We also do have some handouts that are available to you that can either be printed or just saved on your computer or device to help you with navigating all the things that you'll be thinking about after this webinar. So to start, I really want to talk about sanitation. I think that this is going to be kind of the big thing that's on everyone's mind right now, as the world continues to adjust to the effects of COVID-19. We know that expectations are changing around social interaction. We know that people are paying more attention to cleanliness right now, and we know that your customers are going to have different expectations and questions for you on the other side of this when your salon opens back up. So it's really important that we help to set up your salon for the optimal health and safety best practices. Also, I think that your Sola communities together, you're going to be working together to create a safe space to do business. So it's so important that everybody's in this together. I really do recommend that you get Barbicide certified. This is a great certification. You'll see on the right side a picture of Tara Chilton's Barbicide certification. Just by doing this certification, you're going to get this this piece of paper that you can hang in your studio and something that shows your customers how seriously you're taking their health and safety. Last week we hosted an amazing webinar with Barbicide, and I really recommend that if you weren't able to join that webinar live, that you go back and you watch that recording. We have that available in so many different places for you. You can access that on our Instagram TV, you can access it on our COVID Resource Center or on the Sola Pro app. I really recommend watching that webinar. We also have broken down all the steps on the Sola blog. If you aren't the type of person that learns by watching a full hour webinar and you just want to read through the blog, we have created that content available for you as well. Both of those materials will guide you to where you can go to access the Barbicide certification course. Beyond kind of national expectations and what we're recommending, it's really important that right now you're paying really close attention to all the communications that are coming from your Sola manager about reopening guidelines. There's everything that's happening right now is happening locally. So there's going to likely be different procedures and practices based on your local state and even your county. So make sure that you touch up on your local policies. I recommend that you download Sola's Back to Work Guide. That was created in partnership with Barbicide as well, but it's been customized just for Sola. So it should only cover things that you need to worry about in your studio. The thing that's great is that your Sola managers are really thinking about things like common areas and what else they can do to help keep the location safe. You'll see on your GoToWebinar control panel that this Back to Work Guide is available as a handout for you, so you can actually download it right now. Then recommend ordering all the requisite supplies that you need. So this might include masks, additional capes, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies, things that you're going to need. There are certain supplies that we are offering on our Sola store, but a lot of this, you may need to source on your end because, again, the recommendations and the requirements are going to be different based on where you live. And then once you are all prepared in your studio, I really recommend that you communicate these policies with your guests. So whether it's emailing, texting, updating your Sola webpage, however you can get the word out. We even have some awesome templates available for you on the Sola blog. Communication is so important right now. That's what's going to make your guests feel comfortable. Like it really is the right time to get back to the salon. So we do have some limited supplies available on the Sola store. We are doing our best to keep up with demand. I know that if you visited the store in the last 24 hours, you may have seen that actually a lot of these things were sold out. It's been tough for us to predict what the demand is going to be, but we're doing our best to keep replenishing the store. So there will be more of everything added if it's not up by today than within the next couple of days. We have already sold over 40,000 disposable masks and 500 of those Sola reusable masks, which thank you to the Faces of Sola. We started out with about 20 designs and they helped us narrow down to these top 5 designs. We also have a lot more capes that are on the way. So if you're not able to order those today, please come back to the Sola store within the next couple of days. But there's going to be different things that you're thinking about. Something like capes, where maybe you've been used to just being able to have a few on hand and rotate them through your customers. Now it's going to be required that you have a fresh cape for every one of your customers. So things like that, you want to make sure that you stock up and prepare to have on hand. So let's dive into the business side of things. So if you are opening your studio for the first time, you need to make sure that your business is registered and that you've obtained all the right licensing. So I'm going to point you back to your Sola Startup Manual for more information and details about what forms you need to complete locally to get your business set up the right way. So if you don't have your startup manual yet because you haven't been able to meet with your Sola manager in person, I recommend getting in touch with them and asking if they can at least email you over the forms so that you can get started in the meantime. For those of you who are reopening your Sola, you're going to think about things like your hours and your pricing and creating, what your business plan, especially during this time, really looks like. You have some time right now that you can revisit your numbers, your KPIs, those are your key performance indicators, and ensure that you're really setting yourself up to reopen successfully. Especially time when you are reopening your studio after closure, it's a great time to think about your hours and your pricing and your overall business plan to make sure that you're set up right to weather this storm as well. So think about your schedule. Think about if you want to add extra hours and days to help service all your customers after the closure. A lot of people, especially if you're only working, 3 or 4 days in the salon, you may have capacity to come in for an extra day of the week or just some extra hours. But, really, when you're thinking about your schedule, make sure to consider your boundaries and what you need to do to support yourself through reopening. I don't want you to sacrifice your health if you're already feeling overloaded. So just take care of yourself when you're thinking about things like adding more time into your schedule. If you're opening for the first time, you're going to be thinking about your service menu and your pricing and what you want to offer. And if you're reopening, you might want to consider if you need to raise your prices, if the timing feels right. And I know that it might be a difficult thing for, clients right now. You might think that they'll never understand, but your expenses might be higher. You might be procuring different kinds of equipment that you need or needing to build in an extra 15 minutes in between each of your customers. So consider how you can adjust your pricing to help pass this on to your guests, because while it might not seem easy, if you raise your prices by $1 per service and that helps you to purchase all the equipment that you need, it's totally worth it. And your guests, they really will understand. if you have some more time until you reopen, if you're reopening tomorrow and you're scrambling, you may not have time to think about your numbers and your KPIs. But if you still have some time at home, spend some time with your numbers. Think about places in your business where you may have an opportunity to grow, or where, if you increase your, raise your prices or think about adding a different service to your service menu, it might help you get back up and running strong. There's so much education happening right now. So during this downtime, you could be looking at different kinds of certifications and things that you can be doing to add an extra service to your menu that might help you grow your business. We also have some great resources for you on how to create a business plan. So we have an awesome blog about this, and as well as some additional resources on the Sola Pro app. So thinking about your business, thinking about your numbers, and make sure that you understand what you are going to need to bring in order to get to the other side of this and successfully. So as a small business owner, technology can be super helpful in running your business. I think technology is so important. I mean, I'm a customer, so I'm always booking my appointments online, and I do a lot of things online. And I think that now is a great time for you to get some technology systems in place. So first, we have a few different tools available for you at Sola. One of them is the Sola Pro app. So the Sola Pro app is going to be where you can go to access various deals that are exclusive to Sola. You can also watch tons and tons of video education from us at Sola, as well as I think we have over 125 brands now featured on the Sola Pro app. And it's also where you go to update your Sola webpage. And I'm going to dive into that more in a little bit. But definitely recommend using the time now to download and revisit Sola Pro and get familiar with what's inside of there. With Sola Genius, now is a great time to think about technology. If you're still running your business with a paper book, or maybe you have a tool, or maybe you're even using Sola Genius, but you don't know if you're getting the most out of it, now is a great time to really think about all the tools inside of there. We hosted an awesome webinar just a couple weeks ago with Ashley Lance, one of our Sola Genius ambassadors. She and I hosted a webinar. I definitely recommend going and watching that webinar as well. BOOKNOW is our booking engine on solasalons.com. So I'll show you a little more about what that looks like. But if you are utilizing Sola Genius, then you are showing up in search results on solasalons.com. So now would be a good time to search for yourself, make sure that your settings are set appropriately so that you're showing up in search results. We're seeing a huge influx of BOOKNOW bookings made on the Sola website week over week. So I want to start with the Sola Pro app. So I'm just going to show you some very simple images to help you get downloaded and logged in. So first thing you'll want to do is just go to the App Store or Google Play and do a search for Sola Pro, and you can just download it and install it right on your device. Then you'll want to go through and create your login. So the login that you'll create, this matches up Sola professionals who are listed on the Sola website based on your email address. So you'll need to actually know what email address is listed on your Sola webpage so that you can create your login, and you'll be able to choose your own password at this point in time. If you're a new stylist and you're not set up on the Sola webpage yet, you can talk to your Sola manager. They can get you set up on the Sola website so that you can create your login for Sola Pro. And if you don't want to be visible on the Sola website yet for any reason, they have a setting and a way that they can add you so that you're still hidden, but you do have an email address in our database to create your login. And then log in. So once you sign in, you'll be able to see the home page of Sola Pro, which is that screen on the far right where you'll see My Sola Pro, and you'll be able to scroll through all the great things that we have on the Sola Pro app. So if you don't have technology in place to run your salon, I really recommend utilizing Sola Genius. I mean, this is really an all-in-one tool. It can help you with your online booking, your marketing, your numbers, your KPIs, communications. So many great things and tools are available inside of Sola Genius. I recommend now would be a great time to get set up with that, because we have something called the white glove service, and it can literally transfer all of your books, client information, everything for you, so that it's up and running for you in no time. This is a great time to get systems set up that are essentially going to help you with a lot of the remaining things and topics that I'm going to talk about on this webinar. So just kind of a sneak peek of BOOKNOW. So with BOOKNOW, we are driving so many leads from the Sola website to our Sola Genius users. So especially on the other side of this, when all of our salons are back open again, we're working on some new consumer marketing strategies, and we're going to be driving tons of traffic to BOOKNOW because we really want to help our stylists succeed. Right when our salons open back up, we're going to be driving a lot more leads here. And we're already starting to see a big influx of bookings week over week. So really recommend familiarizing yourself with BOOKNOW. And taking a look through the BOOKNOW requirements. And again, if you want to dive more into technology, I really recommend watching the webinar we hosted 2 weeks ago to learn so much more about all the tools with Sola Genius and BOOKNOW. And a recording of that webinar can be found on the COVID Resource Center and in the Sola Pro app. So just a few of the requirements, obviously you need to be recognized on the Sola website, because what it's doing is it's matching search data with your Sola Genius user, but you have to be actually tagged as a Sola stylist as well. Obviously you need to have Sola Genius downloaded, and you need to be, using the tool. And then there's some settings in your Gloss Genius app that are going to basically manipulate how you show up in the search results. So you have to have your online booking turned on. We know that there are some people who are using Sola Genius to power their business that may or may not be taking new customers. So if you're not, you probably don't want to show up in BOOKNOW search results. So that's why there's an option for you to turn online booking on or off. But it does need to be turned on in order to show up in the BOOKNOW search results. You have to be offering at least one service, and the service terms must match the search. So if you have kind of a fun, funky name of a color service or a different kind of service that you offer, but it's not really something that a customer might think of, you might want to think of naming your services with kind of more traditional naming conventions, just so you show up in the search results. And then you must be within the radius, which is 25 miles of wherever somebody is searching. All right, so now let's dive into some marketing and social media best practices. So as you prepare to reopen your salon, you're going to want to consider revisiting your marketing strategy, because there's a lot of people right now who are either looking for a new service provider or a new salon, whether it's based on the situation that they're in. Maybe they're more comfortable going into a studio setting to have a service done. Maybe their salon is no longer open after this. So you really want to think about your marketing strategy, and if you are trying to grow your business, now is a great time to try to reach new customers. And you really want to think about where you're trying to reach people, both online and offline. Having an online presence is so important for small businesses. You have to make sure that clients can find you and book an appointment with you on their time. So I want to dive into kind of what this looks like for you. So I recommend starting with a search on the web. Search for yourself. See when you can find yourself. If you search for your name, or if you search for your salon name, or what you're showing up for. It's always really interesting when you do a quick Google search on yourself and see if you're showing up for all the things that you would like to show up for. The first step in marketing is to be discoverable. You need to be where your potential customers are going to find a new service provider. So you want to make sure it's really easy to find you online. Most people start with a search, whether it's through a search engine or a hashtag search on social media. They're doing some sort of search. even if they get a referral from a friend, they're going to be looking for you online because they're going to want to learn more. So I really recommend having a website. And at Sola, we make this really easy for you. You have a fully functioning website, which is a great place to promote your business. But just remember that no matter how somebody finds you, they're going to want to find you online to learn more, and then they're going to want to book now for when this quarantine is over. So you want to make that process really easy for them. So there's four reasons why somebody's going to choose to book your salon over another one. So number one, they're going to want to compare your website with lots of other websites. So knowing that you're in a Sola location with lots of other service providers, you really want to get as detailed as possible so that somebody knows why they would be booking you as opposed to a different studio down the hall. What I see at Sola is that you guys are also unique in what you offer, and the culture of your studios is so different. I don't see a lot of competition happening at Sola locations. It's more so, how do you provide clarity for that customer? How do you make sure that they know if your salon is right for them? So it's really important to have a website that's informative, easy to navigate, and easy to learn everything that they need to know about you. The second reason is social media. So then they're going to take it to social. They're going to want to look through photos in your social media feeds. And they might want to watch some of your Instagram story highlights because they're coming to a studio environment to spend one-on-one time with you. So they might want to get to know the person behind the chair. So you want to make sure your social media is consistent with your website and that you're providing valuable information there too, to let people get a visual experience of your salon. Now, if you're listening to this and going, no, that's not right, my customers aren't on social media, then you're probably right. It's not for everyone. But if your customers are on social media, just know that that's an important place to market your business. Number three would be reviews and referrals. So lots of people are going to go to their friends and family first, someone they admire and trust, to get recommendations. So referrals are a great source of new leads. So make sure that your customers know about your referral bonus. And of course, referrals, they don't really cost money. You know, they might cost some time if you're giving away services or any sort of retail special offers. But you're not actually paying money for advertising there. And then as far as reviews, this could be Sola Genius reviews that live on your booking page, or reviews that live on a crowdsourced platform like Yelp. But now's a great time to go back and revisit your reviews, engage with your customers, and once you reopen, make sure that that's a place that you're recommending or asking, you know, I'd be so grateful for a review. And then number four, online booking. So you've made it really easy for them to find you, learn about you, find out why other people love you, and get that validation. And then I really, truly think online booking can be the biggest differentiator, because if they're deciding between you and a different salon and you offer online booking and the other salon does not, they're more than likely going to do what's most convenient for them. So I do want to talk about the website first, because I do think that having a working website and a website that has tons of information is really, really important. You know, at Sola, you have an incredibly powerful way to show up in search results. It's free, it's awesome, and it's right at your fingertips on Sola Pro. That is your Sola webpage. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, I have my own webpage, I don't really need the Sola webpage. But here's the thing, our webpage, your webpage on solasalons.com, it is really important because we're getting a ton of visits to our website. It's also where we house all the information so that somebody who's looking for a Sola location can sort through and see who's working there. But also it's really important because whether you have a robust Sola webpage or not, when you Google yourself, it probably comes up really high in the search results. And that's because at Sola, we get a ton of traffic to our website. We are driving so much traffic, hundreds of thousands of visitors every month. And that's kind of how search engines work. They basically reward the most credible websites out there. So if our website gets, 500,000 visits and yours gets 500, even if you prefer for your website to show up first in the search results, it might be that your Sola web page is showing up higher in search results. It really depends. A lot of this happens organically. So that's why it's really important to search for yourself and see what results are showing up. But now is the time that you can really make some great updates to your Sola web page to make it stand out. When we designed the Sola website, we really did think about how potential customers use our site to find you guys. We wanted to make sure to give you a space to showcase everything a customer would be looking for and create a fully functioning website that was more than just your name and phone number. So, you have a place on your website where you can add all of your contact information. And it's so important to go visit your Sola webpage and check your contact information. I can't tell you how many times people say, oh, I haven't used that email address in years, or, oh, there's a typo in my phone number. So it's super, super important that you double check your contact information and make sure that it's right. You can also add links to all your social media feeds to invite people to see more of your magic. Again, super important that you actually click on all of those links and make sure that they work, because if you have just a little itty bitty typo when you put that information in through the Sola Pro app, all of a sudden that link is broken and people who are trying to find more information of you can't get where they want to go. As far as your bio, this is a place to tell your story. You want to use really powerful words to boost your web search results. A robust bio really does contribute to you showing up higher in search results on the web. So, a bio that says, I've been doing hair for 15 years, I love hair, it's not really unique and it doesn't really speak to you as an artist. So use your bio to tell your clients all about you, what they should expect as a first-time customer, what products you carry, what training you've gone through, what is the vibe and the culture of your salon, and how you want customers to feel when they're in your salon, and how you treat them, what your customer experience looks like. And you also want to use those powerful words that really speak to you, what you specialize in and what you want to be known for. The words matter. This is how search engines crawl the web to match searches with search results. So it really is the basis of SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. So SEO is really all about getting organic free traffic from showing up in search results. So if you're sitting here wondering, how come I don't show up for balayage in Denver? I've been doing balayage in Denver for the last, 7 years, and why don't I show up in search? But then you go through and read your bio and it says nothing about balayage or Denver. It's going to be impossible for a search engine to match your salon up with that search term. So think about what words you want to be searched for. Make sure that those appear on your Sola webpage. A gallery. So the gallery is the visual story of your bio. You want to show your top 10 images from social media, or show a picture of your salon so people know what kind of salon they're booking. Especially right now, I think you're going to have people that are really, really excited about going to a studio environment. So it might be good to showcase that it's a small private environment where you are able to social distance from other customers and other stylists. If you offer online booking, make sure that the link is on there and go back to make sure that it works. If you are a Sola Genius user, your booking link is automatically added to your Sola webpage. And then testimonials. So that's another place that you can add content. You can add some quotes from your customers. It's another great way to boost SEO. Like I said, with SEO, it's all about words on the page. So maybe you don't feel as comfortable bragging about yourself, but you have a great testimonial from a client. You can actually put that on your page. So to update your Sola webpage, it's actually super easy. So once you have downloaded the Sola Pro app and you log in, you'll click on that button that says My Sola Pro. Through there, you'll be able to actually view your webpage and then edit your webpage. So if you don't know what your webpage looks like, you'll want to click View, and then you'll want to edit it. So you'll go through, add all of your information. So just to recap that, step one would be clicking My Sola Pro. Then you'll want to view your web page to kind of see what you're currently working with. Then you'll make all the edits that you would like to make, and then you'll submit your update. The next step is an approval process. So it might, you may see that there is an approval process, and we do that so that we can keep our website secure, and so nobody can go through and mess with your web pages or anything like that. So once you submit, if you don't see an approval process within the next couple of days, you may want to just follow up with your Sola manager. They're the ones that actually get that approval email. And so they'll just have to double check all your updates and click approve. And then I recommend testing everything. So like I said, you want to make sure that all the links work, that your phone number is right, that there's no typos, and that everything is exactly the way that you want it to be. And then you want to get the word out on your Sola web page. So make sure that you add the links to your social media pages. If you're using Yelp, you'll want to add a link to your Yelp page. And then you can also add a link to your Google My Business listing as well. So that said, let's dive into social media. So there's a lot that you can be doing on social media right now, and it can feel almost overwhelming. So that's why the checklist is so great that we have. Again, and the checklist is available in handouts. And it's also available on the Sola blog, so if you want to go back to the blog and access it there. But there's links that are going to take you to all sorts of different resources on social media, because I know it's almost impossible to try to learn social media in just a few minutes on this webinar today. But just a few things that you can be doing that are just small tweaks. It's not totally reinventing the wheel, but you want to go through and think about your profiles and what they look like. I've done a lot of kind of one-on-one work with stylists where I find out that they're looking for their profile, or I'm looking for their profile, and it's actually private, so I can't even follow the page. So you want to go through, check your profiles, make sure that they are public and available to people, and make sure that you have a good overview of yourself in your bio there. So you'll see Kelsey Morris's on the right. She really talks about a lot of the different things that she does in her studio and as an educator. So think about your bio and update there based on what you want to be known for or what kind of services you book. And you definitely want to make sure that it's consistent with your Sola webpage. So think about, again, what you want to be known for. If you want to be known for creative color and, let's just say you want to be known for creative color, but your Sola website mentions that you do weddings and your social media says that you do balayage, and nowhere it says creative color. You want to make sure that you have creative color listed in both places. So in your bio, there's not a ton of space, but think about, what services you offer, what you specialize in, what market you're in, everything that is searchable that you want to show up for. Add your booking link everywhere. So there's actually a way that you can book. People can book you right on your Instagram page. So we actually have a great webinar available on this as well as content on the Sola blog that will help you with adding your booking link where you need it to go. I recommend going through and connecting with people and brands that inspire you. Maybe you've seen or heard from some of the faces of Sola and you want to follow them to see what they're doing in their studios. But it's a great place to get inspiration. Connect with Sola. We're sharing a lot of really cool things that stylists are doing right now, especially as it relates to reopening. So connect with us so that you can see what kind of content we're putting out for you. And then, of course, anytime we have a new blog or a new piece of content, we're putting it out on social media as well. Spend some time with hashtags. So search the hashtags in your market that are trending and make a list of what you want to be known for. You can even go back through some of your best photos from the last few months if you never had time, and you can add hashtags if you weren't able to add those hashtags the first time around. So for instance, in a certain market, Denver hairstylist versus Denver hairdresser. Which one are more people tagging photos for? Which one is getting most visibility? Those are things that you can actually find and learn. So now is a great time to kind of think about what you want to be searchable for on social media. Engage, engage, engage. So make sure to engage with content that you want to show up in your feed, what you want to see more of, and then think about your feed and paying attention to what people are engaging with. Think about the aesthetic of your feed, what you want this to look like. You can play around with different looks of your feed until you have one that feels right for your salon. You know, on the page, you'll see a screenshot of Kelsey's feed. You know, she's been really focused on this over the last year, and it really does show. I mean, if you scroll back a year or two, her feed's going to look a lot different. This is something that you can be continually evolving. You know, don't be scared to put out content to see what your followers like to see. If they aren't engaging, try something else. But remember, it's all about providing value to the people who are following you. So it really depends on who's following you. Maybe you're an educator and most of your followers are other hairdressers. Or maybe you're primarily using your social media to promote your business to clients. It really depends. Think about the people who you're connected with and who you want to provide the most value to. And that's the kind of content, that's what you're going to want to talk about. So remember, social media is about creating conversation. It's not about being a megaphone. So work on your feed, build a feed that represents your business and what you want to be known for. And then during this time, just keep learning every day. There's so many other webinars and blogs that you can access to learn more. So think about other ways that you can promote your business throughout this time as well. So if you want to get your clients involved with a referral program, you can revisit your referral program. You can revisit reviews and how you want to ask for reviews in the future. You can think about building partnerships with other Sola professionals or reaching out to people in your community that might know of ideas or ways that you can partner and grow your business. You know, around reopening, I think it's really a good time to think about reopening contests on social media, running promotions that get people excited about going to the salon again. You know, you can be promoting certain services or certain retail. You know, for instance, people can share something, you know, maybe your clients will share an image on social media for the chance to win a retail grab bag. So now you're enlisting your customers to help spread the word for you. So when it comes to communication, right now, communicating with your clients is really, really important, and it's a really impactful way to connect and build trust. You know, throughout this time when your salon's been closed, you really want to think about nurturing that relationship, people that maybe you're used to seeing every 3 or 4 weeks that you haven't seen in a while, and especially as it relates to rebooking. So there's so many ways that you can do this, including email or text message marketing, social media. You could just pick up the phone and call some of your most frequent clients. You know, I recommend using technology. Again, Sola Genius has some great tools that will make communicating really easy and super effective. So think about what systems you need in place to be efficient, you know, so that you're not having to communicate with 200 or 500 customers all with a, you know, manual text message. So, you know, really recommend once you kind of have your systems in place, think about what you need to be communicating right now. So sending important updates on policies and your reopening date, talking about how they can rebook with you so that it's not just efficient for them, but it's super efficient for you. So once you know what date you're going to be opening, if you get the word out, your customers will start filling in your books for you. We have some great pre-written communications for reopening that are available for you on the Sola blog that you can literally just copy and paste to get the word out. So Gloss Up is the feature on Sola Genius that'll help you get text messages out super efficiently. So you can see in the second screen here, there's some filters that you can actually choose which clients you want to send your text messages to. So if you don't want to send it to all of your guests at once, you can send it to different groups. You know, maybe you have a certain group of people that you want to make sure they get to rebook you first before you open your books to everybody. It's kind of up to you. Then you can go through and customize your message. If you want to use any of our pre-written communications, you can literally copy and paste them into here from the Sola blog. Then you can preview and send, and you can get messages out in just a matter of minutes. So on the product and retail front, so if you're new to opening a studio at Sola, remember that you have the choice of back bar, you have your choice of retail lines, and you really want to think about a line that fits your salon culture. So choosing products that you believe in, that you feel like it's not actually selling, it's actually helping your guests and educating them. By having products that you believe in, you're going to it's going to be more natural for you to talk about why it's so important and beneficial for your clients to use those products. You also want to think about what products fit your target clientele. So if the pricing of your retail line, you need to make sure that the pricing of the retail line fits the pricing of your services. So if you're charging $25 for a haircut and $70 for a bottle of shampoo, it's probably not lining up. If you have a wide variety of clients, then you can offer a couple of different options at different price points. But now is a good time to think about what's the right retail line. And then if you're getting ready to reopen your studio or open for the first time, it's really important that you get your products and your back bar ordered early, nice and early, maybe even now, because, you know, first of all, a lot of, you know, whether it's a local store that's, you know, beauty supply store that hasn't been open for a little while, or maybe your sales rep isn't working right now, you need to get in touch and find out how to reorder and make sure that you'll be able to get what you need. Because if they open the same day as you open, you may need to think about ordering online or placing an order in a different way. So just think about that in advance, because you don't want to have all your clients booked and then all of a sudden you can't get the color and the products that you need. Thinking about your customers, you know, they might be running low on all of their products. And remember that at Sola, you're making 100% of your retail profits. So you want to think about how you can help your clients and provide a value to them. And also it's a great way to grow your business. So think about getting all that product stocked. You might even want to think about having some reopening specials and packages that are going to help your clients stock up on what they need. So again, touch base with your sales rep, see if anything is different in the ordering procedures now than maybe it was before. And then order everything that you need as soon as possible. We have some great retail tips over on the Sola blog as well. All right, and then on the studio and decor side. So if you're opening a brand new studio, I assure you, you don't need to stress right now about needing everything to set up perfectly for day one. It takes time to collect all your decor, and your studio is going to, you know, create a huge personality for itself over time. So for right now, focus on the essentials and don't let yourself get overwhelmed. If you're reopening your studio, I really recommend that you think about kind of what that's going to feel like for a customer walking in for the first time again on the other side of this. Deep cleaning, sanitization, now is the time to make your studio feel and smell like new. You want somebody to walk in and feel like they're walking into a really clean environment. And small changes can really make a big impact on the overall studio experience. You really want to create a place, especially after all of your guests are going to be coming out of self-quarantine, you want to create an oasis for them, a place where they're going. Your salon might be one of the first places that they go. I actually saw some survey results recently that said that 83% of customers will be ready to go to a salon, while only 60% will be ready to go to any kind of restaurant, and much, much smaller percentages that are ready to go to gyms and other kinds of public places. So really promising that people are ready to get back to the salon. So think about what you can do to make your salon feel like it's been new and cleaned. You can add or refresh your accessories. You can think about this client experience, the music, all the stuff that you might have taken home with you during this time to get your studio back up and running. If you're new to Sola and you're looking for inspiration, I really recommend checking out our Instagram feed. There's so many awesome studios that you can see and get inspired for your studio. Other ways that you can prepare during this time. So I really recommend, pay attention to all the great virtual education that's been hosted. There's lots of past recorded webinars that you can access. You can, spend some time every day watching some videos on Sola Pro, and whether it's business that you want to work on or different kinds of techniques and focusing on your art. There's so many ways that you can get your customers reignited and re-excited to come to your salon again. Revisit the Sola blog. We have tons of great resources for you. We've also launched the Sola Stories podcast, and we have a handful of really awesome episodes there that you can listen to. And then just go through and connect with your Sola community. See what other people are doing to get ready for reopening. So before we send you off to get started, I want to remind you of some of the tools that we have available for you at Sola, whether it's through Sola Pro, through the Sola blog. Connecting with us on social media is really the best way to get all the latest and greatest from us and the amazing Sola marketing team that's creating so many different tools for you. And then, of course, if you are a Sola professional, you should be getting an email from us every Wednesday with the latest and greatest. If you want to revisit the checklist that we have, so in your handout section, you can download a checklist, whether you are reopening or opening for the first time. We also do have these available on the Sola blog that have lots of live links available for you. And then everything as it relates to COVID-19, we've created a Sola COVID-19 Resource Center where you can access all of those resources. And with that, I'm going to open it up to questions. So I see one question, how do I get to the Sola store? So that's where we have those masks and capes. If you type into your browser, thesolastore.com, you can get there through that. And then you can also access it through Sola Pro as well as our website as well. I see, have you guys thought about disposable aprons? We have thought about a lot of different things that we can host on the Sola store. I would say if you see something cool out there like disposable aprons and it's readily available to you, I'd recommend just purchasing it from whatever supplier. We are working on supplying things on the Sola store that really might be harder to find. Somebody asked, when I opened my studio, I already had Gloss Genius. Should I switch over to Sola Genius? My answer is yes, because actually Sola Genius is just a little bit cheaper per month than Gloss Genius. And it's also what's connected to BOOKNOW. So you will want to make sure that you update your Gloss Genius to Sola Genius. And you can actually just contact the White Glove service. Our customer support through Gloss Genius can help you with that. Does online booking integrate with Vagaro? No, right now on the Sola website, it's only integrated with our Sola Genius users. That's kind of the data that we have access to pull in from. Okay. Anna Gravitt shared that I get a lot of new clients via word of mouth. 90% of clients come through referrals, so that is great. I'm going to continue reading through these messages, through questions. We do have a few more minutes. While I do that, I'm actually going to ask you, what topics would you like us to cover next? So we want to keep providing valuable webinars for you, whether it's hosted by us at Sola or we bring in an expert. So while I continue to weed through some of these questions, if you want to send into the question box any future topics, that would be great. I do have a question. How much control do I have over BOOKNOW? For instance, there may be times when I want to mark myself as unavailable for doctor's appointments, etc. You have 100% control over that. So you can actually go through and block your personal time on your Sola Genius calendar, and that way nobody can book you during that time. Somebody asked, where on the Sola blog do I go to find the templates? I believe you probably mean the communication templates. If you go onto the Sola blog and just scroll through the first few blog posts, you'll see one that's called Communicating after, post-COVID-19, and there's great templates in there. Where are past webinars located? So past webinars can be found inside of the Sola Pro app. And we have also posted most of the webinars as they relate to COVID-19 on our COVID-19 Resource Center. So it would just be solasalonstudios.com/COVID-19. Somebody asked, what is required attire when we go back? Masks, gloves, etc. That's really going to be based on what is being required of you locally. So I would make sure to follow up with your Sola manager, where all of our managers are paying really close attention right now to what's being required on the local level. Do we know if clients are going to be required to wear masks? Again, it's going to be, whether it's required or recommended, it's going to be based on where you live. Does Sola partner with Joico or any other brands for us to purchase? And the answer is yes. There are so many great deals available for you inside of the Sola Pro app. And actually, we have an awesome class scheduled with Joico on our Facebook page this Thursday, I believe. So we have some amazing, amazing partnerships in the industry. I definitely recommend visiting the Sola Pro app. So we have a question, what's the best way to reschedule to be fair to clients and also being safe and for us as providers? I think it's going to probably be based on what you need in terms of how much time you need between guests. You know, I don't think that right now, especially right after reopening, is the best time for things like double booking. I think you want to be really sensitive to clients that might be leaving their home for the first time, may just be coming to spend time with you, and, you know, they're not totally comfortable being in there with other guests. There's going to be signage on the front door of Sola locations that say that, you know, wait in your car and call your professional. So I think you're going to have to consider, you know, having enough time in between customers to manage that. Somebody asked, I'm trying to add the booking button on Instagram and Sola Genius is not an option. Look for Gloss Genius. You'll actually want to choose Gloss Genius from the drop down there on the Instagram booking. All right, it's just about 2 o'clock. Hopefully I was able to answer majority of your questions. I am seeing that some of you have sent in some new topics for more webinars, so I really appreciate that. And we will be hosting many, many more webinars with you. I'm hoping that next week we can host a panel discussion with some of our faces of Sola to talk about opening and reopening. And I'll make sure to look through all these questions when we get off today's webinar so that I can revisit any questions that may have come through that we didn't have time to answer today. If we did not, we can put together some frequently asked questions on the Sola blog and make sure that we're just continuing to help you guys prepare for reopening. Again, I just really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today to think about your business. I'm going to put this screen back up with our COVID-19 Resource Center. Again, the best way to really get the latest and greatest from Sola is to follow us on social media, pay attention to what we're posting and talking about. Make sure that you're getting these Sola newsletters that come out every Wednesday. Our marketing team is working so hard to create tons of blogs and content and partnering with all the right educators to provide you with everything that you need to reopen Sola Strong. So again, thanks so much, everybody, and wishing you all the best for the rest of your day and the rest of this process of reopening. And please join us again for another webinar soon. All right, talk to you soon.